What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the pre-match build-up for Manchester United versus West Ham United. It is currently 7 minutes to 11. The game's kicking off at 12 o'clock. You can see the team in front of you, the starting 11, which I think is very interesting, which I definitely want to dive into. I am excited about certain players starting and positions and roles and how all of that is going to work. However, we've had a bit of a blow with a couple of players, mainly the new signing, who I'm pretty sure the majority of fans would have wanted to see in this formation to see how he works, with Bruno and Cunha, and that signing is Bryan Mbeumo, and Bryan Mbeumo is not available today, and the reason for that is slightly behind the squad in terms of his preparation. So fitness levels, intensity, etc. Because obviously with his transfer dragging on a little bit with Brentford, you kind of don't know whether you're coming or going, do you? So it's one of them where, so he's not starting, and also Nasser Mazraoui has suffered a knock. He is injured. So he will not be available and will not be taking part. However, the team is, as you can see on your screen, Altay Bayındır in net. Which is kind of like, I don't think Onana's going to be ready yet. He's only just started coming back to training after his hamstring injury. You've got Yoro, De Ligt, and Heaven as your back three. Then Ahmad, Mainoo, Ugarte, and Dorgu as your 4, 5, whatever you want to call it. And then Bruno Fernandes in the 10, Cunha, and Rasmus Højlund starts the game. Now, remember, against Leeds in Stockholm, Chido Obi started as your main number 9. So Rasmus Højlund gets the nod. Of course, it is pre-season, so within the second half, you're going to see players coming on like Casemiro. You're going to see players coming on like Harry Maguire, a couple of the youngsters in there as well. Of course, we're all kind of expecting. But yeah, we always start from kind of goalkeeper downwards and go through the team individually. On that goalkeeper situation, I will say it until the cows come home. Don't fill me with any sort of confidence. Any of them, whether it's Heaton, Bayındır, or whether it's Andre Onana, I don't rate any of them to go into the season with. But that seems like if that position is going to get sorted, it's either going to be Sans Lamar, whatever I don't know how to say his name. I'm not French or Belgiumese. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just don't like a goalkeeper position. Bayındır, out of the majority of I don't like watching him. He just. Don't rate him at all. Really, really don't. But it's a pre-season game, so how can I moan? For people asking, is team news out? That's the team on the screen, mate. Literally, the team on the right-hand side, that is the team. So, no Bryan Mbeumo starting today. We do not get to watch him, which is a little bit gutting. Not going to lie. I really, really want to see how he could function in this team. And it's exciting because it's a new signing. You know, it's like, I know it's kind of cliche to say, but it's a shiny new toy. You want to see where he's at. But at the same time, obviously, you don't want to rush him back, and not rush him back because he's not coming back from an injury, but you don't want to rush his progress. You want to make sure he builds up, and then he's ready to go and fit and firing on all cylinders. But the weird thing what I find about this is there was no kind of like suggestion from any kind of journalist, at least what I'd seen, and I like to think I keep tabs on United on a lot of stuff. And I didn't really see anything out there that Mbeumo was not going to start and not going to... Do you know what I mean? I didn't see anything about that at all. But there's still exciting things to discuss. Look, Yoro and Heaven and De Ligt as a back three, I really, really like. I think that could be your back three going forward. I know you've still got Lisandro Martinez to come back. I know you've got Harry Maguire in there as well. But if you're thinking forwards, that's probably the 3 centre-backs that you would go with, right? You've got Lenny Yoro's 18-19, Aiden Heaven 18-19, Matthias De Ligt's 24-25. Got loads of experience, having played for Ajax and Juventus and Bayern Munich in big Champions League games and obviously international caps as well. So, although he may be 24-25, he's still got loads of experience, and he's kind of the perfect guy to be in between Heaven and Yoro. And I thought one of the main takeaways I had, at least, from the game against Leeds in Stockholm, when Yoro, Maguire and Heaven came on, there was a lot more control in the game, a lot more control at the back. So yeah, I'm liking a lot of the stuff I'm hearing from Hayden Heaven at the minute. He's been talking about his transformation and how he started as like an attacker, like a striker or winger, and kept dropping back and dropping back. He had a bit of a growth spurt and then really started to fill out. Because if you look at him, I know he's 18, but the guy looks like a Premier League centre-back. You know, same stature. Talking like Kanate, Saliba, like that kind of stature. He just looks like he fits the bill. He's quick, he's strong, he's decent on the ball. He's going to be raw at times. He's relatively young, do you know what I mean? And he only had, I think, was it 7 appearances or something before obviously he picked up that injury. That bad injury against Leicester. And he was starting to get a bit of rhythm and he looked like he was getting into the team. And do you know what? everyone goes on about Lenny Yoro, right? And rightfully so, because Lenny Yoro has been incredible since he's come in, and we paid a lot of money for him. But when you look at Aiden Heaven, £1 million. Now, if he develops into the centre-back that we think he's going to be, that is an absolute steal for £1 million. And Arsenal will be looking at that. And the situation with Arsenal at the minute is basically Saliba could be leaving depending on what happens this season. You know, if Arsenal go another season with Arteta where they don't win anything, then it might be on the move. And clubs will be in for Saliba because he's a top quality centre back, one of the best on the planet, in my opinion at least. And you would look at that, wouldn't you? Like Heaven, you think he would be ideal to come into that sort of scenario. He plays in the same area as a Saliba, as a Van Dijk, all these top quality centre backs. And I really like his development. I always allude to the game against Sociedad in the Europa League last season because I watched that game from the Stretford end. I was on the left-hand side of the Stretford end, so obviously my main eye line of contact was where Aiden Heaven was. So I saw him starting, I was like, sure, Amarin's gone with him, starting in like a quarter-final. That's a big, big shout, so he must have a lot of faith in him, he must believe in his ability. And yeah, within the first minute, solid, got the pat. You know you always look for in a player when if they're either young or it's the debut or anything like that. It's always little minor things like how's the first touch, how's the weight of the pass, little bits like that. Are they tracking the man? How is the spacing? And he seemed absolutely sound. So he's obviously ready for the occasion. He's done a lot of interviews recently about his grounding and how his mother's helped him significantly in his career and how he came through and how multiple clubs rejected him and kind of, a lot of players have had that trajectory as a footballer. But I really, really like in Heaven. Really like him. And I'm excited to see him develop. And I think centre-back is, when we talk about positions that we need in the team, obviously we filled one with Cunha and Mbeumo. Number 9, midfield, probably a wing-back. Goalkeeper as well. We could all get replacements there. I think the majority would say, would you buy a wing-back? Yeah. Would you buy a goalkeeper? Yeah. Would you buy a midfielder? 100%. And would you buy a striker? Again, 100%. So there's no question marks around it. Whereas at centre-back, you kind of you look at our depth. We're not doing bad. You know what I mean? You've got Lisandro Martinez, Aiden Heaven, and Luke Shaw, who can all play at left-sided centre-half. Now, granted, some of them can pick up injuries quite a lot, especially Luke Shaw, very injury-prone. But you've got experience to rely on there. You've got someone in Lisandro Martinez who's one of the best ball-playing centre-backs in Europe. And then you've got Aiden Heaven, who's this young project that you can really work with. You move over to the central centre-back, you've got Matthias de Ligt, you've got Harry Maguire. I'm sure there's a few other centre-backs who could do a job in there. And then Lenny Yoro on that right-hand side, you could play in the Sir Mazraoui there. I'm pretty sure Diego Dalot could do a job there. You've got depth and you've got options there. So I'm a fan. I like that. I'm not too worried about that area of the pitch at all. It's when we move into the midfield, and I'll talk about the midfield in a minute, but let me read a few comments out. Please do smash the like of the video, by the way, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it's at 11 o'clock for anyone who lives in the UK, so anyone who's joining me currently in a minute, you're a real one, and I appreciate you. T2 saying, evening all. I like the look of that back three. Still dying to see Ahmad and Mbeumo on the right-hand side. Yeah, a little bit gutting that, innit? But what I will say is we saw Bruno in midfield in the last game. I know it was kind of tinkering and switching a little bit, but Bruno higher up with Cunha and Rasmus, I'm interested to see. And I'm telling you, I think Rasmus might surprise a couple of people this season. And that might be a rogue shout, and people may disagree with it, but I'm just going with it. You go with your gut, right? Me and my dad just got tickets to the pre-season friendly at Old Trafford versus Fiorentina at 12:45 on Saturday, the 9th of August. Well, hopefully you enjoy that, Josh. And also make sure you give, I'm sure you will anyway, but David De Gea a nice warm reception when he comes back, because he didn't really get a send-off at all, did he? You had that whole situation that happened with Eric Ten Hag and John Murta, and the way it was handled was just really distasteful for a player who got player of the season 4 times for Man United, was an incredible goalkeeper for us, and his send-off was atrocious. So hopefully when he does come back to Manchester United and he plays at Old Trafford, he gets a nice warm reception. I might be at that game myself as well, so I'll join in with you on that. Charlie's saying they were only playing 45 minutes before the changing the full team. We'll see Mbeumo in the second half. I don't think he's in the squad, Charlie. I don't think he's in the squad at all. So, yeah. Xerxes and Maz are also out of the team. Yeah, Xerxes is another one, isn't it? I thought all of the things that I spoken about when it was like me, Sam, and Shreyas live that was talking, and we was like, all right, what is it that you want to see? And we all said Xerxes and the 9 with Mbeumo and Cunha either side. No Xerxes, no Cunha. We said Mainoo in the midfield, to be fair, because there's been a lot of talk about him, so we want to see how that would kind of play out. And there's a couple of others as well. Like Mazraoui's not available, so would have been interested to see where he was playing. But yeah, we still got bits to work with there. Listen, it's the second game of pre-season. You know, you would rather not rush players back. Obviously, everyone wants to watch Bryan Mbeumo, right? I understand that. I am with you on that track, but if he's not ready, you don't want to rush him back. We're already seeing Mazraoui's missing out with a knock. Do you want to rush Mbeumo? Or should we be patient? You know what I'm saying? Big up Jonathan Ball in the chat, by the way. I always see you guys in the comment section whenever we drop any kind of reel, any news post, any community post, anything like that. I always see you guys in the comment section giving your opinions and really, really appreciate it. So, yeah, big up yourselves. Now, back to the team. We'll move into the midfield / wing backs. I thought Patrick Dorgu was really, really good in the last game. And I also thought in the final he was one of our better players. There seems to be some weird, I won't call it a narrative because it's not that strong, but when people are assessing Patrick Dorgu, like, oh, I don't know, he's very rough and raw, and he's kind of like, yeah, of course he is. Of course he is. He came in from Lecce for 25 million in January. You know, he's not even been at the club a year yet. Let the kid fucking sink his feet in. Do you know what I mean? Let him get a few games under his belt and then assess him. I get he's raw. I get he's sometimes... last season, you go back to the moment was it against Ipswich with him and Onana, where there was a bit of like, what the fuck's going on here? Against Bournemouth, I think as well, there was a situation where him and Luke Shaw had a bit of, I don't know what happened, miscommunication. They capitalised on that and they go and score. Like, these kids, players, they're going to make mistakes, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's, especially coming into an environment like United was that last season. Worst season ever. So it's not the best place to come to as a young kid, as the only, like, left-footed wing-back. So he's come in now. I think his performances are getting better. I also think he was very unlucky last season as well to not pick up a good few assists, because many times he got to the byline, the typical kind of City positioning, squared it across the box, not one person in there. We would sometimes go short of a corner, even on the right side. He whipped 2 or 3 dangerous balls in. It might have been against Wolves. Correct me if I'm wrong. No one on the end of it. So in terms of like supplying, he's getting there, and he is everything Ruben Amorim wants in a wing back. And I think Dorgu and Ahmad, as those wing backs, really, really good. Ahmad in the last game looked a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic, I'd probably say. Again, that can just be a thing, just building up your game. Everybody's different. Some people come back and they're just quick firing straight away. Others take a bit of time to get going, but once they get going, they maintain that level then. And they go all the way. And we're going to need that with Ahmad, innit? Let's be honest. We're definitely going to need that with Ahmad Diallo. So, yeah, excited to see him pushing on, him linking up with Bruno Fernandes. They have a wonderful relationship anyway. So, yeah. Chat to me about the midfield, everyone. How do we feel about Mainoo and Ugarte? What are we saying? Different from what we had last time. I think we went with Cass and Bruno. And I think if we're all being honest, this midfield for me, unless we bring someone in significant, which I don't think is going to happen, it's going to be chopping and changing all season to try find the best fit. It doesn't seem like we know, and I'll ask the same question to all you guys. What is our best midfield? Because I couldn't tell you, genuinely. I think it's going to be dependent on a game by game, like whoever it is we're playing. If we're playing a bigger team, maybe they're more likely to opt for a Ugarte and Cass partnership. But then when you're struggling with kind of ball progression, you're dropping Bruno a little bit deeper to get on it and start dictating play. Mainoo is the one that you're looking at, that you were kind of crossing your fingers and going, hopefully he can kick on in that position. Because there is no doubt in my mind, and I will not have anyone tell me any different, he's an absolute superstar of a player. A top level player. And you saw that for England, you saw it under Ten Hag. Any young player can have a season off. It happens to everyone. He needs to come back into the team now. It looks a lot fitter. It looks like he's been doing a lot of work with Lenny Yoro outside of the training and stuff. A lot of conditioning, a lot of physical work, and he looks the part. And he looked all right when he came on against Leeds. He looked decent. The issue is with Mainoo in that position is speed, recovery runs, the athleticism that Amorim craves from those two midfielders. Now, Ugarte can do that side, of the running side. The volume that he puts up is up there with anyone. The issue is with that is he's not great on the ball. He's not, like, he has the odd moment, a little back heel, the odd switch of play, but it's very, very rare. Like, he'll just keep it simple for the majority of the time. And also, he's not really comfortable receiving it. You remember the West Ham game where he just got pushed off the ball a couple of times against, I think, Athletic Bilbao. He was getting the ball, his pocket pinched a little bit. So none of their midfielders convinced me. And I think if Mainoo really steps up and starts to peacock in that role, I think it'd be good, because on the ball, he is quality. Like, he can play, he can dribble. He's really, really top quality. But I just don't know. I don't know if he's ready to run in the midfield. I get worried about that area in particular, because midfield, it wins and loses games. That is your absolute heart and your engine of your team. And you go throughout any of the teams in the Premier League, or even throughout Europe, and look at the calibre of midfielders that they've got. Now, Real Madrid would be obviously one of the top ones that you're looking at, but I'm talking about engines as well. When you have players like Valverde and Tchouaméni, who I know is playing more of a kind of a hybrid centre-back midfielder role at the minute. But Valverde, Tchouaméni, whoever it is, Bellingham, when he's dropping in there, like, they've got top class players who can run for days, but are also like quality on the ball. They can play between the lines. We need those switches of play as well. I think they're those kind of Paul Scholes or Michael Carrick-esque passes to the wing backs, because obviously we central overload quite a lot, and it's Ahmad and Dorgu who are getting a lot of the ball in important areas. So you need midfielders who can just switch it on a dime, and we don't really have that. I think Mainoo could bring that into his game. Again, he's still developing, but I just don't think there's enough in the heart in the centre of it. Liverpool, one of the reasons why they were so good, everyone was talking about Salah, obviously the season he had. Van Dijk is the obvious one, but their engine room is really good. Like, the running that Szoboszlai puts in, the McAllister as well was absolutely incredible for him. Gravenberch was unreal. When Rodri came back into City's team, like, it is the most important area on the pitch. And everyone's going on about, Cunha and Boomo, think about the goals, think about the number 9 when we get him in. It's like, that's fine. That's good. Yes, the goals will go up. It has to when you think about last season, because we scored 44 goals. But that midfield, you need to sort it. You need to sort it. If it's going to be this chopping and changing all season, you're not going to progress that much. You'll score more goals, but you'll still get dominated in the middle of the park. And it's happened time and time again all last season, where even in like Spurs, you got Maddison, Kulusevski, Bentancur dropping in, whether it's Chelsea with like Cole Palmer dropping a bit with Enzo and Caicedo, and it just doesn't, we can't match anyone in midfield. And I want to go into a game with that full belief and confidence, like, right, whoever it is in the middle of the park, we've got absolute players first and foremost who are dogged, but then have that elite quality on the ball. So, yeah, 2 of them could grow, though. It's not like I'm not fully, writing them off and just saying, they're never going to amount to anything. They're both going to be crap. Like, they're very young still. Mainoo's 20 and Ugarte, I believe, is 23 years old. So there's plenty of time to work with, but we need to see a progression. Very, very key. We need to see a progression this season. And I think with Mainoo, you're certainly going to get that. Not too sure on Ugarte. But, yeah, we'll see. Charlie's saying that there's a switch. Mainoo will be a 10 and Bruno will be in the 8. We've still got 3 preseason games left after this one, so hopefully they can recover from injury and play in one of them. And there might be a switch. I'm just going basically off who's going to be where. Because even if you listen to Amarin in his press conference, when he's been asked about Mainoo and Bruno, he's said about both of them that they can play wherever. So it's not going to be one static position. Of course, there's going to be players interchanging. Mainoo pushing up, Bruno dropping deeper. Like, even at times, Cunha will drop a little bit deep and almost sit alongside Ugarte, and Dorgu will bomb on. Fluid rotation is what you'll get. So, again, we'll just have to wait for the start of the game and just see actually what's cracking. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're on 20,676 subs, pushing towards 21k. So if there is anyone new, you're tuning in with us for the game right now with Real Reds Talk, and you're interested in it, drop us a follow, subscribe, follow us on social media as well if you want. I found it interesting that MUTV guys saying they saw some interesting things in behind closed doors bit of the training. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of, listen, I try my best not to buy too much into what you hear from pre-season and the positive vibes and what all the journalists are pushing out, because I feel like I'm almost like a veteran in it now. Like, I've watched that many pre-seasons where either the results have been mega and the season started poorly, or the results have been shit and we've started like a house on fire. So I try not to tap into it too much. Although, one thing you will say is you can't do much worse than last season. You really can't. Famous last words, Nick, but I believe you can't. You just it would be, you're getting relegated in it if you do any worse, really, than 42 points, whatever it is we ended up on. So I expect an improvement. It's just how big of an improvement can you make? I think maybe you could start to catch up, or to the Brightons of the world, maybe Aston Villas, and start pushing up there a little bit. But in terms of Arsenal and Chelsea and City and Liverpool, I don't think you're going to be anywhere near them. Don't think. And for the main reasons I was talking about before, goalkeeper, midfield, striker, we don't know what ours is going to be by the time we start the season. So we need to worry about 10th, 9th, 8th at the minute. As bad as it sounds, it's just the reality of the situation, unfortunately. And all the journalists are putting out, they look fit, they look lean, healthy. Okay, all right. But I'm still, all that can be spoken about. I'm still seeing things on the pitch in the first game of pre-season that I saw from last season, spacing issues. So I wish I could, you could see me going through this team here. But let me just point to the side. So this side here, see this area of the pitch, right? That's what worries me. You have little players dropping into pockets there, like your Kulusevskis and your Madisons. Same with the opposite side as well. These a lot of them don't seem to still understand the formation and how it works. You bring in players, tailored players like Cunha, you see the difference like that instantly. So it's about understanding the roles a little bit more, tactically getting it right, having more confidence, the players developing into the roles, new signings, bedding in more, Dorgu, Yoro, etc. Getting a bit more experience. It'll come, but it's a lot of fans haven't got patience. When you finish 15th in the league, it's hard to say to fans, oh, well, it'll come in time, but just wait. No, mate, do you know what I mean? We're not going to be here forever. We need to see something. And I think Amarin's comments were interested about, you're going to get a storm throughout this. When he came in November, I won my first 2 games and drew 1. I told you there was a storm coming. The storm happened. Now I'm telling you the good times are going to be here. So the pressure is on. Within the first 10 games, not just this summer series, because it's pre-season. Everyone wants to see new players, how we're working, and things like that. Pre-season is its own kind of thing, right? When we kick the league off against Arsenal, and they're starting with a team that has Gyökeres up top, that has Zubamende in the middle, that has Madueke and Saka and all these players, and they're up and they're ready for it. Declan Rice fit as a fiddle, Saliba and Gabriel at the back, Raya ready to go, and they're going to be ready, peak physicality, ready to go, and they've got a point to prove because they keep finishing second, third for the past 3-4 years. So they're going to be ready to go. Are we going to be ready to go? Are we still going to be stumbling about trying to find what's the best option in centre mid? Why have we've not got a striker in yet? So is it going to be Xerxes? Is it going to be Rasmus again? All these question marks. And I'm sure the players are asking the same. And then goalkeeper. We've got a goalkeeper who's probably still going to make mistakes that players don't genuinely believe in. So, yeah. I can't remember. I just went off on a tangent and I can't remember what you was talking about, to be honest. Skinny Bob, as the team stands, no new signings, where do you see it finishing the season? Great question, Skinny Bob. Really, really good question, that. So what with this team right now, or do you mean out of the selection of players that we've got? I'm gonna guess you mean with the selection of players that we've got. I would add into that team, so I would put Onana in net. I would probably put Maguire as a centre back, mainly for what I was talking about before. Maguire does have that switch play in his locker, so he can break open, an attack. And his experience. So him for now, I would put Maguire in there. I would keep Ahmad at right wing back. I would keep Dorgu at left wing back. In the midfield, I really don't know. Really, really don't know. Random generate it. Casemiro. I don't know. I'm not sorry. I know. I'm just I don't know. Mix it up. Go with that. Go with Mainoo Garte in a minute. I need to see more. Casemiro maybe I'll chuck in there just at the minute. And then the front three, if it's Mbumo. But then you need Bruno, don't you? I'll go Casemiro, Bruno in the midfield, then Cunha and Mbumo and Xerxes. So if it's that team, where do we finish? 8th, probably. Sorry, that's a very long-winded answer, but 7th or 8th, I think we do this season. And that might sound a bit weird to people, but that's 7 places higher than what we finished last season. Because naturally what I think is going to happen is I think you're going to see a lot of the teams above us who've done really well last year. I think you're going to start to see them drop. And one of the teams that I mentioned first, who Mbeumo played for, who we all know about, in Brentford, like, they've lost a lot. They have lost a lot. They've lost Thomas Frank, who has done a fucking insane job to keep Brentford doing what they're doing on the budget that he was on, playing that consistent style, being able to adapt in multiple games, being able to do it against the big boys, against Arsenal, against us, against City. Like, truly, like, incredible and impressive, and that's why he's got to move to a bigger club. But I think naturally they're going to drop down the table, especially with Vissa missing training as well, so he's not going to be available. So that's a problem for him. I think they drop down. Nottingham Forest would be interesting. I don't think they're going to do as good. I still think they'll be mixing it with top 10, but I think they'll drop off slightly. I don't think Aston Villa have invested or bought anyone, and I'm not saying you have to invest to do well, because Liverpool didn't, and they won the league. But it depends who leaves Villa. Maybe they could drop off slightly. Brighton will always be thereabouts. Crystal Palace have been cherry-picked a little bit. I think Mark Gay's going to go. Eze, I think Arsenal linked with him. Like, losing out on a few players, aren't they? So maybe they'll drop slightly. And you've got other teams with Europe now as well. So naturally, when you're playing more games, they drop off a bit. So I think we can break into that top 10, 8th or 9th. That would be my shout if I was a betting man. I think Kone will be good for us as well this season. I think Kone will be a great addition in the midfield, but it's too soon. It's too soon. Playing at academy level in the midfield and doing well, and then compared to the Premier League, is just, honestly, it's so far apart. You wouldn't even believe it. So far apart. So, yeah, he's a talented prospect, but in terms of playing regular in midfield, not ready yet. Not heaven level for me, personally, from what I've seen anyway. Hate to tell you, nothing's happening with that midfield until we get the Casemiro anchor off our finances. You're probably right, Jonathan. You're probably right. Craig the Unicorn, if this out midfield, then where does Bruno play and Mbeumo eventually play on the right-hand side? Bruno is going to play the majority of his games in midfield. And Cunha and Mbeumo are not going to play every single game. So if you need to switch up for a game, if Cunha needs a rest, you play Bruno and Mbeumo and whoever it is up top. It's fine. The team needs depth. Love Ugarte. I grew up watching Remy Moses and Brian Robson. Do you know what it is with Ugarte? I feel like people think I'm being harsh on him or something, but I just compare him, and comparison is the thief of joy sometimes, right? But I just compare him to some of the players that play for the top clubs. So go throughout him. And I hate doing it because it's like, a lot of teams are so much better than us at the minute, but that's the standard that we're trying to get to, right? We want to be really, really good. You need really, really good players. And we don't have anyone like McAllister or Rodri or Casado or Enzo or any of these players. You know, I know they was bought for a lot. Declan Rice was bought for a lot of money. Casado was bought for a lot of money. But look at the difference that it's made to the team. Declan Rice has had a massive impact on Arsenal. And I just think you need that level of investment in the midfield to compete with the big boys. I think you need to go sign a Carlos Belieber from Brighton for two reasons. One, so I can call myself a believer. Just you know, one of them. And two, because I think he's such a gem and such a talent. He's got the engine. He's got the ability on the ball. Like, he's ready for that step. I think Belieber would be perfect in midfield, genuinely. And then alongside Belieber, I still think you need someone who's, again, as athletic, but fucking like a De Jong alongside him. I would love. But it's just not realistic. So, yeah. Ugarte, I hope he improves. I hope he gets better. I just don't rate him at the minute. Christ, would the fans have been like when we got relegated? How can you complain about space in the midfield but then want Casemiro to play in there? Ooh, I didn't say I want Casemiro to play in there. I said, I have to be honest, I don't know who's going to play in there. I say Casemiro mainly because each player, when you look at it as a pool of midfielders, have their own individual qualities, right? So whether it is you're talking about Casemiro can break open defences with those first-time passes over the back line, play between the lines. He's got that experience. Like, he knows how to kind of position himself in certain, when there's a transitional moment. Obviously, it was bad under Ten Hag because that's the spacing issues was massive. But when Cass has someone like Ugarte next to him who can do the running, his experience is valid at times, but he can get caught out because he's 33 years old and he's not the Casemiro like he was at Real Madrid. And also, at Real Madrid, he had Kroos and Modric ahead of him who could just dictate play. So I'm saying, whichever one you go to, for me, there is issues with each player. Amorim didn't play Mainoo last season in midfield because he said his recovery runs weren't good enough, he doesn't have the athleticism, and he's not quick enough. Right? Bruno Fernandes, when he's there, he hasn't got the frame, really. Like, I was just speaking about Baliba. He's this athletic guy who can bomb up and down, can shove players off the ball like Casado or whoever. Bruno's not really that type of guy. And he's not a great ball carrier either. You know, when Declan Rice picks it up for Arsenal, he just drives through the midfield. We don't have players like that or who are confident doing that. So that's why I'm saying you cherry pick whoever you want. I think there's going to be issues with whatever midfield you go with regardless. Absolutely need Ugarte in there. What time is kickoff? Kickoff is 12 o'clock, so kicks off in 36 minutes. Our squad is good enough to be top 7. I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. If I start seeing more, am I just being negative? I feel like everyone's a lot more positive than me, but maybe it's PTSD from watching United last season. I don't call it whatever you want, but yeah. We will never have a ball playing Regista in the 6. It doesn't suit the system. Our wide centre backs provide progression. CDMs from the ball. Yeah, the main thing that the midfielders are doing are that box to box business, covering wide channels, a lot of legs in there. I get that. But also, it doesn't matter that, oh, they don't need a Regista. I'm not saying you need a Jorginho or someone like that. I'm just saying you need someone who's competent on the ball, who can play between the lines, who can switch to play. That's all I want. We don't have that. Ugarte isn't great on the ball. He keeps it simple. He's not playing between the lines. Delicate passes, little De Jong passes. He's not doing that. And we need someone with legs who can play as well. If you guys are happy, and I will absolutely die on this hill, we need someone better than Ugarte in the midfield. Absolutely. Partnerships make the midfield. Ugarte is fine with the right partner. But who's the right partner, Jonathan? That's the question. So you're really saying the squad ain't top 7 quality, adding Cunha and Mbeumo to it? No, mate, it's not. Do you know why? Because Rasmus Højlund is still up top. Do you know why? Because the midfield, as I just mentioned a million times, isn't great. And the goalkeeper still isn't great. Still makes shitloads of mistakes. So, yeah, you need investment. You want to break into that top 7, top 6, whatever you want to call it. If you think we're going to finish above, your Aston Villas or Newcastle's, no chance. No chance. And I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I genuinely hope I'm wrong. Ugarte is competent on the ball. We need more than competent, no. We need more than competent. That's fine. Do you want a striker who's just competent up top? Who scores just 10 goals? I mean, it would be a drastic improvement on Rasmus Højlund, but you want more than that. It should be demanding more if you want to push up into the top half, if you want to compete with the big boys. Let's see if there's any... I've not even spoke about the attack yet, have I? Let's just see if there's any kind of... not updates, but things coming in from the game. There's loads of quotes from the manager and stuff that I really want to get into, so... Let's just have a scroll. For anyone who is just joining, because I appreciate there are new viewers, please do subscribe. Just above my head there, 20,678 subs. Please do hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on the video as well. Alright, let's have a look. What Ruben Hamarine is saying. West Ham's team, actually. Let me quickly go through this for you. They're playing a 5-3-2. They've got Areola, the nipple, in net. Wan-bissaka playing against United once again. I think he'll probably get a decent reception. Todibo, who United was once linked with. Still a fan of him. But we've got Yoro instead, so it's kind of like, who gives a fuck. Kilman and Agard in the centre-back. They've got Dior, I think, who is a new signing at left wing-back. Ward-Prowse, Souček, Rodriguez, Bowen and Fulkrug up top. Obviously, Jared Bowen being the main obvious threat. Souček from set pieces, etc. Yeah, interested to see how they'll do with Graham Potter with the full pre-season. On Mbeumo, United said the buy from Brentford is being eased into life with the Reds as he's earlier in his pre-season preparations than the rest of the squad, and he's not quite ready to play a match yet. Ruben Amras also said if I had started at the beginning of this season, it would have been a mistake. So I think now we have to use all the mistakes we did within the 6 months to start in a different way. I will try to use all the information. The most important thing about pre-season says to build a bond between the players. And I think that we need to work on that really hard. Then the physical aspect, we need to be prepared for the demands of the Premier League, and the focus is to be ready for the first game of the season. Now, I know obviously we all remember that loss to Tottenham in the Europa League final. Don't want to bring it up again, but it is a part of our history, and sometimes we do have to mention it when we're going to make a certain point. We lost to Tottenham, so we didn't get European football, but in a way, obviously not financially, it may be a blessing in disguise because our squad doesn't really have the athletic profile to compete with some of the big boys in the Premier League. It doesn't really have the technical profile in a lot of areas to compete with some of the big boys in the Premier League. So by only having one game to prepare for in the week, one, it gives you a lot more legs in your team, gives you a lot more time on the training pitch. Like, there could be a silver lining there at a certain point. You've seen what teams can do when they don't have European football. And it don't always work out like that. You could still be just shit in the league, and that can happen. But Nottingham Forest last season, just like every week, just bang hitting teams. You know, obviously they play more kind of counter-attacking football, but they were just ready every game. Because they've got, you know, Chelsea coming back from a game against fucking Karabag on a Thursday night, and then they're playing on a Saturday evening or something like. And Forest have had a whole week to prepare for it. They are just good to go. And obviously that's where the physical demands kind of come into it. So it might just benefit us. I'm not sure. Amrin's been mentioned on Cunha as well. He played more or less in the same system in the last club. He's a top player, can play in different positions. He's really loud in the dressing room. He's Brazilian. So I love that from him. Seems like he's making his mark already. He's completely different from Brian and Mbumo. Brian is the opposite. So it's really fun to combine all the characters and the talent in our club. I think you got that though, didn't you, from when you watched his interview when he was asking like, what do you do outside of football? And then Mbumo was like chess and piano. And you're like, right, okay. And then you probably ask Cunha and he's like, I don't know, go to Nerf gun wars and shit. Sorry, there's more quotes coming in. I'm just trying to get him. 2 seconds. Driest throat ever. I had about 4 hours sleep last night and I'm rough as fuck. Yeah, a few more dive into them. Go back into the comments section. Aston Villa have literally done nothing in the market. They're going to fall off. But you just said you wanted competent. Now you want more. Right. If I said the words, I only want a competent midfielder, I apologise. I want someone exceptional on the ball. That's what I want. Simple as that. Don't need to explain myself anymore. Having specialists in different roles comes at a price. Some of our players must be best without the ball. I agree. I agree with you as well. Listen, if you guys are happy with Ugarte for the rest of the season and you think it's going to be incredible, power to you lot. Go for it. You're entitled to your opinion. I don't think he's good enough for United's midfield. And I've said it consistently. If he improves, mate, I'll be the first guy to turn around and say, I got it absolutely wrong on him. But listen, at the time when we signed Ugarte, I was like, right, what do we need in the midfield? We need legs. He came in. He offers that volume off the ball. He works extremely hard. That side of it is perfect for it. But when he's on the ball, he's not exactly press resistant. He don't play between the lines. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not a well-rounded player. Then you look at, okay, PSG sold us Ugarte for 50 million quid. Who did they go and buy? João Neves for 50 million quid. Who would you rather have in that midfield right now? João Neves or Ugarte? It's João Neves every day of the fucking week. Any of the midfielders from PSG, Fabian Ruiz, Vitinho or João Neves, I'm having 10 times a week over Ugarte. And the reason why they're one of the best teams in the world is because they've got the best midfield in the world right now, in my opinion. So the midfield is so important to any team, and I think ours isn't good enough. But look, maybe they'll blow us away against West Ham today. Maybe they'll have an incredible game and everyone's raving about Ugarte and Mainoo. Who knows? I hope they do well. I hope they do well. It sounds like I'm bitching about them, but I'm not. I want us to get better and I want us to improve. So let's see signs of improvement tonight, man. Let's see it. On the Adriano Raiola, the Bournemouth manager, says the pitch is something they will have to discuss after a 3-0 win over Everton at the MetLife World Cup final in just under a year. Something wrong with the pitch or something? Am I missing out? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Doesn't sound very, very happy. But João Neves didn't want us, mate. Yeah. Right? What's your point? That wasn't the point I was making. Well, listen, we're going back and forth here, Jonathan. We could do this all day, mate. That wasn't the point I was making. I'm saying he's a better player. So spend your money better. If you're going to spend 50 odd million on Ugarte, and there are players out there of that ilk of João Neves or whoever, which it clearly is, because multiple teams are signing midfielders for that kind of price, bring in someone like that. Do you know what I mean? Ugarte left Sporting when Amorim was there. Went to PSG when Amorim was there. This is an ideological conflict. Ugarte versus ball playing 6, but Amorim is all in on the former. If we buy someone new, he will be in this mould. Why don't we? Right? Because we're gonna watch the game shortly. Let's assess the game. It's against a team who, weirdly enough, finished above us last season in West Ham. Pretty sure. Let me double check that, actually. I don't want to go all in on that one. Pretty sure they finished above us. Them and Everton finished above us last season. 24-25. Yeah. They finished 14th on 43 points. We finished on 42 points. Right? So, based off last season, these are two teams who are close in points per match. Whatever you want to call it, we're close as a team. Let's see the difference today. Let's see how good our midfield is. Because in their midfield, they've got what? Ward-Prowse, as I mentioned before. Who else is in there? Let me get that West Ham team up. Souček would be another one. I'm trying to think who the third player was. And Rodriguez. Ward-Prowse, Souček, and Rodriguez. Let's see how they do against that. On the subs bench for United, so who could potentially come on. Heaton, Dalot, Maguire, Mason Mount, Casemiro, Luke Shaw, Diego Leon, Chido Obe, Tyler Fredrickson, Jack Fletcher, Sekou Kone, Toby Collier, Ethan Williams, Reece Monroe, and Bendito Mantato. Bendito Mantato is someone I want to see more of. Sekou Kone, definitely. Chido will get on the second half. Diego Leon. I mean, we put analysis on of Diego Leon the other day on TikTok, and it got 160,000 views. And I'm just like, you know, we on this channel, we've been doing this for, I don't know, probably like 3.5 years now, something like that. And the algorithm, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is, I don't get it. We and Sam just did a quick little analysis, give us our thoughts about it, and thought he did relatively well, ball watching at times, but you can see he's a physical specimen for an 18-year-old kid, right? 160,000 people like, oh, really likes his performance and blah, 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 but he needs to do this, he needs to improve, he needs to, like, yo, chill, man. Like, the kid's come from a Paraguayan league. He's 18 years old, probably don't speak a word of English. He's at one of the biggest clubs on the planet. Like, this is a huge transformation for the kid. Let him acclimatise to the club, ease him in, and let's see where he's at. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we always we see half a decent performance and we put, like, way too much pressure on kids, man. Like, just let him grow into the team naturally. I like the look of him, don't get it twisted. Like, I'm excited to see where he's at. And he'll get minutes in the second half. You saw Ruben Amorim speaking about Luke Shaw, saying that he's world class and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, he might be world class, but he's never fucking fit. So it doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't matter. He's just going to play a bit part, I would imagine. Kind of come in and, you know, when we need him for certain games, a bit of experience in the back, I think he'll come in. I don't think he'll be playing 90 minutes consistently. I'd be extremely surprised. Now, what do we always do when we do these pre-match build-ups? When it starts to get to the 45-minute mark, we start to make a couple of predictions. So everyone in the chat right now, if you can, if you've got your phone in front of you, or your laptop, your iPad, whatever it is you're watching on, 4 things that you can see happening in this game. So it could be a scoreline, it can be who's going to get an assist, could there be a potential rare yellow card? We never ever get them in pre-seasons. Maybe something you're excited to see, just little bits. Whatever it is, just go for it. So I'm going to go with... Wait till I get my money right. Oh. I think Bruno might do... If Bruno's pushed higher up, I don't know if Mainoo or Bruno, one of them two are going to do something. So goal or assist for Mainoo or Bruno. I think West Ham score... Is this going to be a really boring game? I think it could be a really boring game. It always is against West Ham. If you go look back at any of our head-to-heads with them, it's been dog meat, mate. Honestly, it's been absolutely shit. So I would say it's probably going to be a boring game. 1 goal in it. Mainoo or Bruno will get a goal or an assist. There probably won't be any yellow cards because there never is in pre-season. Although if there is going to be, I would probably put it on someone like Souček in the midfield. And then I will say, I think Mainoo will shine in this game. I think he will. If he's deployed further up, I think he will. But yeah, I'm not as excited because Mbeumo wasn't the team, man. Really, really wanted to watch him on the right-hand side and the dynamics. And I'm sure there's a lot of fans in that stadium today as well, by the way, not just us, who are like, what? He's not starting. They probably bought, a lot of them bought tickets just to see him, I would imagine. But we'll see him. We'll see him. We've still got Everton to play. We've still got Bournemouth to play. We've still got, Fiorentina. Is that it? Bournemouth, Everton, Fiorentina. They're the only games we've got left, the pre-season. Feels like I'm missing a team out. Let me have a look. Anyone in the chat, if you know I've missed a team out, please do let me know. I said Everton, Bournemouth, Fiorentina. Yeah, then we play Bournemouth, and then Everton in Chicago and Atalanta. Yeah, so I was right. Play West Ham today, Bournemouth on the 31st of July, Everton on the 3rd of August, Fiorentina on the 9th, and then we play Arsenal on the first game of the season. So, yeah. Totally agree, far too much pressure. Modern fans think any youth players, Yamal, or shit, no in between. Do you think it'd be Bruno or Kobe in the 8 today? I think it'll interchange. I think it'd be both. 3-1. We are rising towards mediocrity. Let's enjoy it. Right, I reckon Ugarte red after he 2-foot Ward Prowse. Yeah. And if he does, I'll see you in the morning, Jonathan, and we'll have a conversation about it. Because I'm not going to... Usually I would do post-match review after the game, but I think this game's probably going to finish about 2 in the morning or something in it. So, and like I said, I've had about 4 hours sleep last night. So I'll just do I'll get up in the morning and I'll do it straight away. I can rewatch some kind of clips and really get my head around it. But look, hopefully it's still exciting, Jason. I've got a feeling it's going to be 1-1. Cunha score, Bruno assist. Let's see. The game is going to be on Sky Sports. So for anyone who doesn't have Sky Sports but has something that they plug into the TV, you know what to do. Or for anyone who has the internet, also you know what to do as well. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts and feelings. There'll be community posts. There'll be stuff on social media. So check us out, Instagram, X, and TikTok for all kind of reviews, assessments, any news, any interviews after the game as well. All the quotes will be over on there. There's already a massive support on social media, which is great. Pushing towards 10,000 on the Instagram, pushing towards 30k on TikTok, and I think there's a couple thousand on X as well. And that's because all you guys keep kind of following and commenting and interacting, and appreciate you all here at what are we on 20 to 12 yeah, 20 to 12 at night, and there's close to 1,000 views. So appreciate every single one of you. Genuinely love having a debate, love the opinions, keep them coming, and I'll speak to you in the morning after the game. Enjoy it. Keep an eye on our socials, and I'll speak to you in a bit. Yeah, legends.